What's going on, everyone? It's Manny from BCV back with another video, and today's video is something I've been wanting to talk about for about a couple weeks now. It's the Detroit Pistons and their head coaching search. Today they actually just fired their GM, so that says to me one of two things: either the next coach they're bringing in is going to, have more than just the coaching role, will, at least be VP of basketball operations, if not the GM, on top of coaching, or the owner and the GM just disagreed on who they wanted to hire. They've had tons of interviews so far. They've done Kenny Smith, Becky Hammond. I think the front runner is Dwayne Casey, and then today, actually yesterday, after they interviewed Kenny Smith, they also did University of Michigan coach John Beilein. And that one is really cool because obviously, we've seen what he's done the last few seasons with the Wolverines in Michigan. He's obviously a fan favorite. What he did with Mo Wagner this year was, not even just this year, but since he's been there, the 3 years, has been incredible to be able to, he got more out of him than I think any other coach would have. Yeah, the kid is just a freak talent and everything, but you can definitely tell he's been coached up. So Beilein wouldn't be a bad fit there, but with all the success he's had at Michigan, I really can't see him leaving. He's got a, he's never going to be on the hot seat there. He's got a cushion job. I think it'd be a mistake if he left. Although I think he'd be a pretty good NBA coach. I just think, I'm worried that it's going to be like Billy Donovan with the Thunder. I didn't like the hire when they hired him then, and I still don't like it now. You can just tell Westbrook really doesn't, I don't want to say not respect him, but just, Westbrook values his own opinion more than Billy Donovan's, which, I don't blame him. I would too if I was Westbrook. Billy Donovan to me is meant for the college game. It's like Calipari. He came from college and then went back to college. Not many people are Larry Brown and can win anywhere, league or whatever it is. So, if I'm the Pistons, though, to get back on track, if it were me, I would hire Dwayne Casey, but I'd hire a GM as well. That I couldn't tell you who I'd hire, but I would definitely hire Dwayne Casey as the coach. It's not like the Pistons roster is depleted of talent. You've still got Andre Drummond, and you've still got, as low as the league is on him now, which deservedly so. He hasn't done much. He hasn't done pretty much anything since his rookie season, but Stanley Johnson is still a freak athletically. If you can get a coach such as Dwayne Casey, who is able to get the most out of his bench, these I don't want to say no-name players, but, small-time players like Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, and DeLon Wright, to be able to get them to be, I don't want to say household names, but like NBA fans, normal NBA fans, they know who they are. So, I think, sorry about that, I think he could get the same, production from Stanley Johnson, if not more, because Stanley Johnson is more athletic than any three of those guys. So, yeah, I'd hire Dwayne Casey because, he should be able to help Stanley Johnson, you'd imagine. I also they still got Luke Kennard coming off the bench. He's not, he's not a bad player. He's getting, people are hating on him because, Stan Van Gundy, who they just fired, which that's another thing. If you're going to fire a Van Gundy, you better come back with, with some firepower, because the Van Gundys are one of the best basketball families in the game ever, hands down, period. They're like the Boons of baseball. The Mannings of football. It's just, they're smart minds. They know the game. So if you're going to make a big move like that, you got to come back, like I said, with firepower. Look what happened since the Magic got rid of him. They ended up getting rid of Dwight Howard, Jameer Nelson, Rashard Lewis, that whole team, J.J. Redick, that whole team is gone and hasn't been anywhere close to good since. So, I don't want to, we've seen what the Knicks have been since we fired his brother, Jeff. We haven't been great. We made the playoffs here and there a few times, but we are not the Knicks that we were with him and before him. Since then, it has really taken a toll on us. It's taken a toll on the Magic, so it's one of those things that it's hard to come back from when you get rid of a great basketball mind. So, anyway, Luke Kennard gets a lot of hate because Stan chose him over Donovan Mitchell. First of all, that's not Luke Kennard's fault that he made a coach fall in love with him. I'm still high on Luke Kennard. I saw what he did in Duke, and I mean, honestly, he just reminds me of a more polished J.J. Redick at this point in his career. Even when they were in college, they both were in college for the same amount of time. Both were picked around the same area. J.J. Redick was 11, I think Kennard was 12, something like that. Obviously both Duke boys, both white, both can shoot. I think eventually down the road, Luke Kennard could possibly be a better version of J.J. Redick. It just depends on how much is he going to put in the work that Redick did. That's all. And like I said, the Pistons, they still got Drummond. Ish Smith he's actually not a bad backup guard at the very least to have. Yeah, he cannot be your starting point guard. I'll give you that. And they still have Reggie Jackson. Take it or leave it. I get it. He's got fans. He's got people who hate it, and I understand both sides of the argument. I'm a fan of his. He does drive me crazy though. Him and Schroeder, I feel I can get so much more from at the point guard position, and they just don't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Reggie Jackson's thing is he just can't stay healthy, or if he just isn't going to be able to produce for like that year and a half that he did between Pistons and the Thunder that one year. So, it's not like they don't have talent, you know what I mean? But what they've got to do is they've got to keep building around it. Dwayne Casey, obviously, he's known for getting the most out of his players. So if he were to be given the opportunity to take over there, I don't want to say I'd see improvement, but I don't think they would fall off. You know what I mean? Either way, this team has got to make moves. Like this new GM or coach/GM, whatever it is, has got to come in and make the tough decisions. It's going to be crazy to say, but with all the, I've always been interested. Everybody's talking about moving DeAndre Jordan and, Boogie Cousins moving. Why is there not talk about Drummond? If Drummond is supposed to be the best of, like, the big centers these days, there's talk of Whiteside being moved, which I'd be shocked if he wasn't moved this summer. So, like, why not, why isn't there talk of Drummond? Is he that good? Is the center position, first of all, really needed, number one, enough in this league to where you got to keep Drummond? And number two, if it is, which it isn't anymore, unfortunately, I miss it. I love Drummond's game. I don't really like DeAndre Jordan's game that much, but that's just because he relies on lobs. He can't work you down low. He's got no footwork. He's got no spin moves. DeAndre, on the other hand, or Drummond, on the other hand, he does. He's got footwork. He's got a nice little hook shot. Obviously, he belongs in Lob City as well. He's one of those guards, but he's got more to offer than Jordan. But anyway, what I'm saying is, why hasn't there been talk of them maybe moving him? This new GM should come in and say, you know what? Maybe there's a team like the Rockets, if they were to lose Capella to, let's say, Dallas or Phoenix or something like that. I know Phoenix is really interested. So if they were to lose him, why not make a trade for, if I'm the Pistons GM and they're going to need a center, that team, regardless if Chris Paul stays or not, and Capella, so if they were to get LeBron, they're going to have these bench players that they already got. You could make a trade. You could trade Drummond and pick up Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson out of it, and then after that you make some other trades with your draft pick, and maybe you got yourself a team. You don't know, but you're going to have to come in and you're going to have to make tough decisions. Do I package Stanley Johnson and Luke Kennard with my draft pick to maybe have a shot at a Paul George to put next to Drummond? Well, you gotta. A move's got to be made, obviously, with the coaching department, but more importantly, I think with the player personnel on the team, the current roster is just not. It's not even an 8th seed, and that's sad. And to start the season when they had Tobias Harris all day, they were all day. They should have been playoff contenders. They were, but they should have been in the playoffs. That was a good team. Drummond, Harris, and Reggie Jackson should have been in the playoffs, in all seriousness. So, yeah, but long story short, if I was the Pistons, I would choose Dwayne. I would pick Dwayne Casey as my coach. Honestly, they're not going to do it, but I can understand getting rid of Van Gundy as the coach. But or the GM, one, but why? I don't understand why he was gone in both roles. I just, I get it, 'cause, breakups are messy, no doubt. But at the same time, like, when you got a Van Gundy, like I said earlier, you got to do whatever you can to save face and keep him around just for the franchise's help. You know what I mean? Just so you don't plummet. But anyway, guys, appreciate you listening. Hit the like, subscribe, and, do your thing on the comments. Let's get this page going, So appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.